Kalinka leaned back in her chair and smiled. A week ago, she'd walked directly into Oleg's office and stood just inside the doorway. She remembered standing firm, not going anywhere. Oleg waited, but finally looked up from a stack of papers and said, "Kalinka, so nice to see you. Please come in and sit. Close the door behind you." She loved how defiant she'd been, smiling a wry smile, closing the door and remaining standing. He'd rehearsed these lines. "We have a lot to talk about, if you have time in your busy schedule." How arrogant Oleg had been, leaning back in his chair, squinting his eyes and saying, "I always have time for you, Kalinka. Sit, sit," he motioned to the chair. She tried to resist the command, but sat almost against her will. Oleg continued his arrogant ways, calling his assistant Julian over the intercom and demanded of him to hold his calls, cancel his meeting, and order them lunch. His display wasn't done. Oleg looked at Kalinka and said, "What's on your mind, Kalinka?" She remembered pulling out her notebook and flipping to a bookmark page. The following words were etched in her brain. "Let's start with you having our assistant Julian spy on me? Or would you like to jump right into the main event, reselling company materials and pocketing the proceeds?" The panic Oleg showed was unexpected. He blurted out, I have no idea what you're talking about, Kalinka." She knew he wanted those words back. The pièce de résistance was reaching into her bag and pulling out an overflowing file folder, looking at Oleg, handing him the folder and asking, "Are you sure?" A smile came across her face. She knew she'd done something good exposing Oleg, something she would always be proud of. This was her show now, hers, Uliov's, and Clarence. Hi, Cheeb here. Welcome to Rote Bucht 1.0, reboot of my prior Let's Play. Decided to start this up. Kai and I were talking, and she suggested that might be a fun thing to do rather than starting from scratch. We've got a nice map and the basics worked out. And so decided that, yeah, that was a thing to do. So that's where we're at. You may notice a few slight differences, or maybe not. The last save I had was a few episodes behind. It's actually on a computer back in my hometown of Calgary, and it's not available to me. So basically had to run through and get it back to a point, watching the episodes after and catching up to where we're at. Maybe I'll pause this just so we don't get too far ahead here. Just giving you an idea of where I'm at right now, and it's pretty close to where we were. We've got the clothing industry in operation. We're just from the border getting crops, and we've clothing. No, alcohol. That's right. I don't know why I thought clothing. At any rate, we got the alcohol industry exporting like crazy, and we're making money off of that. And as long as I don't build anything new, we can continue to make money. But that's not happening. The food factory is next, and the whole idea here is to have some of the higher return on your dollar things that do a purpose. Remove the need to import that, as well as be able to make a profit from it. So alcohol is easy because we don't use much of it. Food's going to be a little bit trickier just because we have more of a need for it within the Republic. So it's going to be something that I have to keep an eye on, because obviously we don't want to be running ourselves out of food, because that's dire consequences. At any rate, we've got roughly the same amount of citizens. Quite a high unemployment rate, mostly due to the fact that I'm not doing, there's no constructions going on right now. I basically ran this to the point where we were at last. We've got garbage containers all through the Republic. the game settings, if you're interested, are here, and the only one that I don't have enabled is the global events. I've just set that to normal. I have played a little bit with them being on, but it's just frustrating. And I don't know if you've watched Uliki's series and the number of things and what happens. It just, for me, it's not fun. So if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. So that's that. The rest of the things that we've got, the farm is in place. Our heating plant has been up and running. Everybody's, pretty happy. We've run through the initial wave of immigrants, and we've got them all basically pretty healthy at this point. So now it's on to getting them put back to work and getting some construction going. We haven't had our first season of farms. This will be it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is set up the farms and the fields for the farm, and then we'll head out this way. And let's see, I've got the finally was able to get the gravel quarry in with a road. So that was important. Had to basically do the same thing. Needed a couple of bulldozers out here so that I could make that ledge work. And what we have is fairly long. This is going to be expensive conveyor down to our gravel processing. Or, sorry, an aggregate storage, and then from here we'll branch out and create gravel for the Republic. Something else that I did as well was got the basic research done so that we could see things on the map. Our coal, that'll be one of the first things we go to get that replaced, and it can also give us some building supplies. Iron, so the coal and the iron are right around the corner from each other. We'll have the steel factory when we get there built, and from there we should be pretty good. We can also consider doing oil. I haven't 100% decided how I want that to happen, when I want that to happen. We'll see, but we will at one point. And if you remember, the initial plan was basically to fill this area up with a pretty substantial sized city. So that's the plan. We're going to have our first bit of work to do in this area will be where our construction offices and storages will be for our supplies, and we'll go from there. So again, welcome. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come and watch my video, and let's get on with a couple of things. Like I said, the first thing that I want to do is get the fields all set up on the farm. And I want to make sure, yeah, this isn't quite the way I want it to be, so we'll get rid of all of that stuff and get this laid out in a little bit more logical style. So I'm going to start from the outside and work in. And if you're unfamiliar with what I'm doing here, I'm going to have basically a set of 3 tractors working this side of the road and another set working that side of the road. This guy should finish first, and then we'll go out and start there. So we'll just go back and forth, because this guy should finish second, and that's, you know, that's the plan. It's a plan. I find having plans a good thing. Whether it happens exactly that way, we'll see. Yeah, so we're in good shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11 should be 22. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, we're good. It just didn't look like that one field was highlighted. Anyway, onward. That's done. Now our next order of business is, and I'm leaving this pause just for now because there's really, other than just using materials that we paid for from the border, there's nothing else going on. So I'm going to have our construction, these free construction offices build our CO, and once that's done, then we're off to the races, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. So we have our it's not scrolling. Okay, research that we need to do. I need to continue on with, and I was thinking I would do this because I know that we got a limited number of fields with this farm, so I want to try to optimize that. So I'm gonna go for fertilization first. I know that probably end up going for the concrete utilization study, and then following that we'll be getting into metallurgy, because that's going to be our main moneymaker off the get-go. So we'll start with that, and I've been leaving that at the default, just allowing that number. We seem to be doing pretty well for having all our smart people. Everything's good there. We'll be building our next residences when we get a lower unemployment number, when we see a need for people there. And let's go into planning mode. So I've been testing out, and something else that I should probably take care of as well here is making sure that I don't block the rail, because I know at some point I will be wanting to make use of the rail for exports and whatnot. So let's get a grid on. Get all the 3 rail. Okay, good. And I want to create a little bit of a waiting area here as well. I'm going to make a lot of these residents happy, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to be planning this. I don't plan on building it till after we get concrete going. But if it's planned, at least it can be used. And now a waiting area. Need to know how long that is. Sorry, I shouldn't say sorry. What I want to know is, what's the length on this? 113. So I'm gonna need at least another probably 50 meters before we connect all that back up. So that, because I basically plan on running trains that are 150 meters. So that works pretty well there, I think. Could be about right. Okay, cool. Best way to make this happen. It's been a while. It really has been. This, the right will be the out, and okay. We'll need, because it's a chain in. Wow, this is hard. I wasn't really planning on doing this kind of a build here today. Oops. But it just occurred to me that it's going to be necessary to have that. Okay, so this is in. We'll need to be able to get from there to here, from there to there. And then conversely back out. If I do this, is that? Yeah, that's not exactly the way I wanted that. Because I need the signal at that point. This isn't going to be built, and I can redo it all. Okay, we've got the space taken. I don't want to bore you with all of this. We'll come back and get it all fixed up, but it'll be something along those lines. Okay, let's go get into CO planning mode. I've been, as I was saying, I've been getting into the habit of using maybe not the habit, but I've been using these 24 construction. It's a good size. I did experiment a little bit with the excuse me, these 32 ones, but they're just so large. It's really pretty crazy. So at any rate, what I'd like to have set up is an area for the construction offices, and then right across the street, a place right across the street for where they'll pick up the concrete. And it's probably even makes more sense to have that up here at that point. So maybe I just build 3 of them now and run with that. So let's get into planning here. Having a little bit of a hard time keeping my thoughts square here and getting a little scattered. I guess that's what happens when you're out of practice. We'll get back into it shortly, though. Okay. We'll be building 2 of these to begin with. I'm going to plan for 4, but I may end up moving the last one up closer to the concrete, or the gravel area, just because if we've got all the dumpers up there, then it probably makes much more sense to have them close there, as well as having our materials. Yeah. I'm liking that much more than I'm liking where I'm laying this out right now. Yeah, okay. They call that drop back and punt in football terms. Let's have a little closer look here. Okay, just trying to get that all nicely lined up. Going this way because I want to have the storage area and all that stuff closer to who's going to be using it. Okay, good. We're set there. Now, this is something that I've been messing around with, playing with, toying with, is our 4 storages. For all the materials. I'm trying to think now here which, so 330 steel. I've forgotten which one I used. Certainly not that one. That's way too much. I think it was this one. So that's the I'm pretty sure that was the storages that I was using. I know at one point I was using the smaller open storages. Don't need the train option for sure. Going with 4 of these. And the reason for 4 being that we have for materials that we need to store. So then I can zoom in, try to get these as close as I can. This might become a little bit clear once I get done with this, how I've been laying it out. Kind of like the way it works. It seems to work pretty relatively quick is what I'm trying to say. And what I'm doing with that is road cargo station. So I've found having 4 is actually, and they need to be on this side. Having sorry, I'll finish your sentences, your thoughts, your having space for 4 vehicles in there is pretty good, and then you give yourself a little bit of leeway also in how much road you have. Okay. And this one's not needed. Okay. Now I've got, rename these. This will be steel. Rename CO prefabs. CO, I think it's called lumber, if I'm mistaken, and I could very well be mistaken. Okay, and then on the other side, what we have is, again, where are we going? Cargo station. I was previously doing this with one cargo station, but I think it makes a little bit more sense to keep it, to have it on two for two reasons. You don't block yourself in, and you can get the roads coming out. Let me see how far in I am here. I'll be right back. Just be a quick second. So 25 minutes. It feels a fair bit longer than that to be honest. First time back. Feeling a little shaky. It's all good. Right. That looks to be middle-ish. And these roads really won't be used for anything other than building of everything there. So now we've got the four base materials, and then off to the side here is where I would have the storage for gravel. Actually, I think probably the best place to go there, or not. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So when I have a decent size storage, probably be filled by truck to begin with, and then we can, once we get into the steel world, we can ship it over via conveyors. So yeah, sorry, it's gonna take me a moment or two to find. Yeah, 1950. So I want something sort of in between 2,000 and 4,000 tons, and I'm quite sure there's one here. I just have to find it. Yeah, 20,000, 8,000. That's, I don't mind that. Yeah, it's 100 tons of steel though. That is an expensive thing. 2,500. Yeah, 29 tons of steel. That's much more doable. and it's got lots of nice in and out. Conveyor connections. So what we hang off of this is three things: loading and unloading. Not loading and unloading. We want a unloading and a loading station. So the truck aggregate loading, we want that this side so that our trucks can come. And let me look and see if there's a better version of this, something that might have more than 2 parking. This one has room for 4. That might be a little bit safer bet, because when the dumpers get going, the thing, right? Okay, trying to line up the legs so that we can get that road through there. That would be pretty cool. So anyway, construction. We have a concrete plant. Want that roughly in the same kind of area. Again, trying to make sure the legs are out of the way. And then the asphalt. And I've been using the vanilla option. Let's see if we can tee that. Yep. Okay, work with me. Line that up. Okay. Not quite as close as I would like it to be. For the COs, like I want it to be a quick drive to start loading. Yeah, I kind of prefer it down here, and if I turn it this way, I can get connection that I'm looking for. Make sure it's square. Okay. And the water can be run in the other side. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm not sure how important getting that road through there is, but we shall see. Okay. We're going to try to do this the same. Interesting. Don't know that I've dealt with this one before. Don't know how easy it is to connect these both up. Or if it's even necessary, to be honest. Work. I just want to get this down here and this in here. Like that. So this is the bones of the construction area. Next episode, I know we didn't do much in the way of construction or time lapse. I just really wanted to get you caught up on where we were at, where I was at, what happened. I was hoping this might go a little bit quicker. It obviously didn't, but that's cool. Planning this area out. we can start on the construction and then continue the planning the rest of the work that needs to go in there in the construction. So at any rate, I'm going to call that an episode. So hope you have a great day, and thanks again for taking time out of your day to watch me. Cheers.